it's here. It's here. Let's get this thing out of the box. Some care instructions. Tells us to soak it for 5 minutes in any sort of brewing cleaner. Then give it a good rinse and you're ready to put your new chiller to work. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact. And to store it in a dry area. Do not let your chiller freeze. If you're happy with your CUS.S brewing product, that stands for copper stainless steel, make sure you tell other home brewers. If you're not happy with our brewing product, just sure to tell us and we'll do whatever we can to help you. Got a nice little sticker. Brewing equipment you can swear by. So let's see what this has turned out. There it is. Custom made for this kettle. Cool things about this. It is low profile, like 5 3/4 inches tall, because I have the heating element in the bottom over here. And with 5 gallons of wort, it only comes to about there. So you have only about 5 inches of room above the element. Second cool thing is it has a, looks like half inch whirlpool arm that's attached to a custom hanger, which he calls the claw. And basically it sits on your pot and hangs over. You can adjust it with the stainless steel straps. You can see that he notched this. You can see he notched it to fit in between here. And then he cut this so that when you squeeze it, it's on there nice and tight. I can actually move that up and down if need be, or even put it really far down low if I wanted to. Ends, brass fittings, which match what I currently have. I'm probably going to switch 1 or 2 over to a cam lock. And a quick disconnect. But let's get it in there and see how it looks. So the claw is sitting there. As you can see, it's not even hitting over here because it's sitting on top of my arm that's coming out. So if I switched it around a little bit, reconnected it, it's sitting fine right there. I still have about 1/8 of an inch between my spigot out and the coils. I have plenty of room between my thermocoupler. That's about the same amount, about 1/8 of an inch. Heating element is about a finger's width, so 1/2 inch about. Sits in there nice. Let's get the tape measure. The bottom of the kettle, we're right under 6 and just under 7 inches, 6 7/8 to the very top from the bottom of the kettle. My spoon here has notches on it. This is the 5-gallon mark. I usually go to 6 to 6.5 gallons in the kettle. So do it at 6 inches. And we are just at 7 1/4 inches. So this coil will be underneath in the liquid at all times. As opposed to that one, even on the floor, it's at 7.5 inches. So if you do 7.5 inches from even it sitting on top of the, you would be $3 inches above this. That's the worst part, is I didn't have I have one pass through on there of 3/8 copper. Very limited cooling. Worked pretty well, about 20 minutes or so. It would bring it down 20 to 30 minutes. Supposedly this in the next, within 5 minutes should bring it down to temperature. So, I'm going to give it a good soak. I'm going to run some water through it, make sure there's no leaks, and we're going to go from there. Another cool thing that he does, every solder joint is done very well, and he takes off all the extra solder and flux. If you look at it a certain way, there's actually some wire or Scotch-Brite area where you can see that he cleaned it very well. Even on here, you can see it, where he cleaned up the solder joints. There's no extra solder anywhere on these fittings. It looks like he even painted or something. Well, these are all copper. I doubt that he painted it. But it's all cleaned up. Like, he took care of this, soldered it. There's a minute gap in between them. And just look at the solder joints. Done very nice. And cleaned up very well. I do like how he took the time to clean up all those joints, make sure everything was bent properly, and cleaned it up. All we have to do right now is soak it and try it out with the next brew. So I filled it up, and as you can see, I have just over my first knuckle, almost to the middle of my finger, covered by water. This is 6 gallons in here. So this is coming out perfect for the height. So we're going to put some PBW in here, or I actually got OxyClean. Going to get this up to temperature, put some OxyClean in there, circulate it through the whirlpool arm. See how well we can get a whirlpool on this with the chugger pump. And hopefully everything goes well. So we're all unpacked, fully cleaned with some oxidizing cleaner, OxyClean. And then I cleaned it up all nice and put some of my fittings on it. This is the outbound side. This is my whirlpool. This is my inbound side. The water coming off of the tap is 49 degrees. It is slowly heating up now. And we have 6 gallons of water in here. That's what I end up with at the end of my boils, so that I can transfer 5.5 gallons and leave half a gallon behind with Trube. So what's going to happen is we're going to get this up to full boil. We're going to add the immersion chiller to it. We're going to see how long it takes to come back up to a boil. We're going to time that. Once it comes back up to a boil, we're going to let it boil for a little bit. And then we're going to turn off the PID, start the stopwatch, turn on the hose that's giving out about 50-degree Fahrenheit water, and see how quickly it can get down to whirlpool, which is around 175. I let it sit at 175. I turn off the water. It'll usually drop down to 170, which is where I like to add my whirlpool hops. I will then turn on the chugger pump and see about the whirlpool attachment. I was using this for a whirlpool attachment. I just would bend up the end like that and then let it whirlpool around from the lid. And quite honestly, it was a very slow whirlpool. So we're going to see what this looks like with this nice 1/2 inch, nice bent radius arms, you know, real nice. We're going to see how it does. I'm hoping it's better. So I did soak this for 10 minutes in some Oxy Clean Free right here, and then rinsed it off with the hose, hot water from the tap, and then gave it a quick little brush with my plastic bristle brush, and then sprayed it with some sanitizer and let it sit. It's air dried now, and that's about it. It's been roughly less than 10 minutes, and we're already at 101 from 50, and we're going to see what happens once we get to a boil. See when we add the chiller. So let me start by saying I have a couple of different ways of chilling. So I've been mostly using this immersion chiller. It's only 3/8 inch copper tubings, 50 feet, and it did the job. But the reason why I was using an immersion chiller in the first place is because, one, it chills the whole body of wort down to a set temperature, which can coagulate the proteins, all the hot break, and then it'll drop everything out, and I can let it sit for a period of time, let that settle out after I manually stir it or do my whirlpool arm, and then I can transfer out very slowly from the bottom and get usually pretty clean wort. Now, I also have the Blickman Therminator. I did reviews on this in the past. The reason why I stopped using this is, one, this thing gets to 210 degrees outside temperature, and it's just sitting up there. You can burn yourself. Second, it's a pain in the butt to clean. It literally takes 15 minutes of just switching the hose from the inside and letting it push out underneath high pressure, then going and switching it, putting it to the outside and pushing it back, and then vice versa, keep going until I barely see anything left. And then I think I have nothing left, and I try it again, and more shit flies out of the Therminator. So I usually do that, then do hot PBW after the hose, and I circulate that nonstop because I usually fill this bad boy up and then let it circulate. Then I clean everything, push water back through it, and then use my pond pump, which is back there, and connect it and push sanitizer through it, and then blow that out with an air compressor. So you can see there's a lot of steps to make sure that that's clean and sanitary and doesn't get clogged and doesn't grow mold and everything. Whereas this guy, it's literally hose it off, scrub it with a soft bristle brush, scrub it with some PBW if you need to, hose it off again, dip it into my sanitizer bucket, and let it air dry. Done. Very simple. So, if I had a choice between plate chiller and immersion chiller, if I wanted a fast brew day, I would use the plate chiller. I would just connect it, gravity feed right through, one pass, make sure that I have my wort coming out slow enough and my water going through fast enough that I can get 68 to 65 degree wort coming out into my fermenter. And I get what I get. It might clog, it may not, but that's what I do. If I want something that I'm really want to focus on the clarity and make sure I don't get any hop debris and stuff like that, I will use the immersion chiller, put it in, let it sanitize with the boiling wort, turn it on, get down to 170, do my whirlpool, add my hops, let it go for half an hour, whirlpooling, then turn back on the hose, let it get down to pitching temp, and drain to the fermenter, and then I'm just basically hosing it off and sanitizing it with some Star San or SaniClean. But that's what I do and why I'm choosing now to go to immersion chilling. for ease of cleaning, ease of a procedure that I can do. Not going to get me super burned. I have put these in there with water still inside of them, and then steam and everything shoots out of the openings. But you want to make sure that you have all the hoses connected, then put it into your vessel so that the steam shoots out through down to where I drain. That's about it, guys. That's why I'm choosing it. And hopefully it lives up to the hype. So we're at a boil. 209 degrees is what it reads. And I'm going to add this chiller. Come back to a second. I added the chiller. It's coming back to a boil. It's only been about a minute. Went down to about 207. And it's coming back up. So this didn't take that much to come back up to a rolling boil. We're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to go down and chill down to 170 and start a timer to see how long it takes. So we're at a full rolling boil now. 209 on my PID. We're going to turn off. So I put the right end, because I actually had the wrong end on there. Let's see if it actually... It's not leaking now. So that's good. Let's start. It has a little leak. Nothing too crazy. But we're at 190 right now. About 10 seconds in. At 175, we're going to stop for a whirlpool. 175, 24 seconds. Turned off the water. 30 seconds in. We're at 165. So this thing is cranking. So let's start a whirlpool. See what happens. There's our whirlpool started. This thing's moving pretty good. Oh yeah. We're sitting at 156. We stopped at 30 seconds. It took 30 seconds to go down to 160, 165. So we're gonna whirlpool and make sure that the temperature is steady. It only took about 30 seconds to get down to whirlpool temp. And you can even see it only had to be maybe 20 seconds for me to sit at 170 where I would want to be. So I kind of overshot. So we're going to stop this now. Reset. And we are going... Yeah, that bad boy's moving. That's really good. Oop, got a little... That guy's moving really good. I'm happy with that. So we're going to continue to have this go. It's at 159. And we are going to start it now. I'm going to turn on the water again. And we are going to see how fast we can get down to pitching temp. And that's with whirlpool, so barely any leaks coming out of this, a little bit, nothing crazy, out of both sides. But this is nice and warm, this is freezing cold. Like I said, 50-degree water coming out of my tap. We're at 135 now, from 160. And it's only been less than a minute. I'll come back when it's down to pitching temp. We're at exactly 5 minutes from the time we started from a boil to where we're at pitching temp for ales. Let's see how low we can get this bad boy. See if we can get it down to 55 degrees and see where that is. That's a great lager temp. No problems. Whirlpool, it's kicking butt. This bad boy's got tons of condensation on it. Everything you could touch from the sides, no problem. So in less than 40 seconds so far, we've dropped another 4 degrees. And we're going to see how long it takes. So in just under 8 minutes, remember we had to add the half a minute to the beginning, we're at lager temps. So at just under 8 minutes, with a Whirlpool attachment and the whole coil submerged by about a 1/4 inch, we're down to lager pitching temp in under 8 minutes. I think this is a great product, helping out somebody starting their own business. The gentleman Jeremy was super helpful. He had tons of feedback with me, at least 4 to 5 emails back and forth, asked for some dimensions, showed me what he can do, built a prototype, had everything laying around, and built it for me and showed me this is what I think it's going to be like. We have this and this. Let me make something for you, and I'll send it to you. And did not disappoint. The gentleman made a great product. This claw attachment is not going to cause any type of dimples on the side because it's sitting there nice and balanced. All the solder joints are clean, really super clean. Everything was cleaned up. Great product. Whirlpool arm works great with my chucker pump, which I was having issues with. And right now, with under 8.5 minutes, we were at 53 degrees. My water coming in is 49 to 50 degrees. So that came down amazingly well. And besides having a couple drips from my own connections that are crappy, this is a great product. Should have made it my primary besides this one a long time ago, but this had a smaller footprint and I thought it would work a little bit better, but just the nuance of cleaning it and maintaining it and just keeping up on it so it doesn't mildew and doesn't have any issues when you go to brew. For the price, this is a great product. Amazing product. I can't say enough about it. The help was amazing. Jeremy was very helpful, very quick. Packaging came extremely well packaged. Came very quick. Shipping was free, included in the price, and can't be happier. First beer probably with this is probably going to end up being either a Rogan beer or a Pliny Progeny Triple West Coast. All right, guys. Hopefully this helps. Now I got to drain some water and sanitize this and clean it all up and dry it. Have a good one.